what are the worst or best trends? Preferably the worst, because those are
as you had just mentioned, hand cut ice. Like, let's talk about hand cut ice. You know, you have this like clarified.
Oh, I think we're gonna open up a freaking.
I know.
It's gonna be a storm.
Let it rain,
I know.
on me.
Because this is some, you know.
I know some passionate people.
This is lots of bartenders. They love their ice.
Well, you know. So what I'm saying is, if you do the hand cut ice thing at home for yourself, cool. What I see a lot in bars and high volume bars is that if you're not doing it right, and if you're not using a chainsaw bandsaw combination, and if you don't have someone on staff that can be calculated and minimize the waste, I see some of these smaller bars who try to do the hand cut ice thing, and they go and they freeze their water in a cooler, you know.
Yeah.
Then they
freezing,
take it out.
Right? Yeah.
And then on the bar top, I see bartenders, or pre-COVID, I used to see bartenders trying to like chisel away at this block on their bar top. They're losing ice chunks left and right.
Well, also when you do directional freezing, like the bottom third is unusable anyways.
Exactly.
So it is carbon dioxide, but it's also, whenever I use a chainsaw, like that snow that just comes off from cutting it, that's like a good amount of clear ice.
Oh, it's a ton of ice.
Gets lost.
And and I see these bartenders or these bar programs, they try to do it a cheap way, and it's almost kind of half-assed by putting it on the bar top and trying to chisel away. If you're like manually sawing at a fucking ice block and trying to chisel at it,
the labor cost. Like how much money does it cost?
That's excessive to me. That's a trend that I think needs to stop. That's something that you don't bring into a professional sense. You keep that shit at home. And if you want to do it at home, great. Do whatever you want at home. Do it in your underwear. I don't even care. But if you're bringing it into a professional sense, and if a guest is relying on a cut cube, you better be able to provide that every single time.
Yeah.
I don't like seeing this like, oh, hey, look, I got this block, and I was able to get like 8 cubes out of it, and it was like, it's like you spend.
And then when you run out, you get regular ice.
Yeah.
You ever go to You ever go to a bar or heard of going to a bar where you get like 2 old fashions or 2 Negronis that come in the ice block, giant ice cube, and then the next one it comes in the regular ice, and they're like, hey, what happened to the big ice? And they're like, oh, we ran out.
Totally. Yeah, that's a trend. If you're gonna provide big ice, you're gonna provide hand cut ice. Provide it every single time.
You need to keep that promise. It can't be just like, oh.
So the answer.
I have a follow up to that too.
Is use your chainsaw. Use a bandsaw. Get a bandsaw.
I think bandsaw is the best because it's so thin. It's like the
thin.
chainsaw is like.
Use gloves. Good God.
Goggles.
It's such a.
You gotta hearing. You gotta have earplugs because you don't want to lose your hearing from.
I mean, ideally, you'd like it to be like a 2-man thing. Cutting ice. That shit is risky business, yo.
I know. It's also.
That shit is like when you get that cube in your glass. There's a lot of work that goes into getting.
There's also
what needs to happen is some of these Japanese ice companies, Yoshizaki. They're already coming out with larger cubes that are transparent.
Have you seen the Samsung? I think Samsung, they have this new $10,000 freezer that makes clear spheres from your house freezer.
Exactly. I mean that's
the best option to make. I was like, how come home bar? I mean, how is this released for the houses before they released on the restaurant industry? Because don't you think that if you had a freezer that made clear spheres or clear cubes, that would be a lot safer, right? Than having someone cut something.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the very near future, some bar managers are gonna talk to their bar staffs and be like, you know what? I remember when we used to have to hand cut this shit. And these new bartenders are gonna be like, what? You guys actually used to cut this with a saw? Like, what is a saw? I've never heard of it.
And there's no. It's like
I live in virtual reality most of the time.
Oh, you mean that weapon that the Doom guy uses when he runs out of bullets?
Yeah.
Like use the chainsaw to kill.
So yeah, these companies are going to produce something for the bar. I think
when there's a need for it, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.